I'm Jesse. I'm here at Samovar Tea Lounge, and this is Yulia.
Hi guys, my name is Yulia. I'm a big Samovarian fan.
A fan and part of the team here. And today we're going to be tasting one of my favorite teas, and I think one of your favorites.
I really like all of it.
Ryokucha. A lot of people come to us and ask us, how do I get into tea? How do I learn more about tea? Can you tell me how to brew tea? And we thought this live stream series would be a really exciting way to connect with people all over the world where we're brewing tea. Actually, we can shut off the player. And we're brewing tea, and you can brew it at home. Or you can get a box later or get any kind of tea actually and brew along anytime. So first a little bit about Samovar. Maybe give you guys a little primer. We have 3 locations in San Francisco and a website that you're looking at us through now. And we focus on serving tea, small scale, artisan farm, delicious, fresh tea. We source it in really small batches, and we brew it up here in any of our 3 tea lounges and serve it alongside with some really delicious dishes. So come on in if you're ever in the city, and if you're not, thanks for joining us as we now
Thank you guys.
Embark on the live tea tasting.
We are in my favorite location, Zen Valley. It's very beautiful here.
It's very beautiful. You can take a look around. We actually have a packed house full of happy tea drinkers on this foggy San Francisco day.
It's the perfect timing to drink tea.
And just for those of you who don't know what a samovar is, it's actually, what does it mean? It's Russian, right?
Yeah, it's a Russian teapot.
It's
we want to show you. It's right there.
Take a look at what is a samovar? It means self-boiler, is that right, Yulia?
Samovar is a teapot that has boiling water in it, and the little teapot on top of it actually has some zavarka. Zavarka is the name of the Russian tea that's very strong, caffeinated, and people just, it's like a family style drinking tea. People just come, pour some tea in their cup or saucer, and drink it, and talk, and enjoy the company.
Did you grow up drinking Zavarka from a samovar in Russia?
Yeah, I drink it every day when I go home, and my family has samovar, and all my friends have samovars. Actually, they have samovar in Persia too, in Persian culture, so it's not only Russian.
That's true. In Iran and also Turkey, they use a samovar.
Absolutely.
It's hard to say who really owns the original name of the samovar.
Yeah, there might be some bottle here.
So the first thing, we're going to talk about how to brew Ryokucha. That's why you're here. And Ryokucha is a Japanese-style green tea. And if you look down here, you can see what is really, what are the components that make up Ryokucha. The first thing is sencha. And sencha is a steamed style of Japanese green tea. And what you look for with the sencha here is a very consistent color and shape in these kind of leaves. This will give you a consistent grassy flavor and a really beautiful, even, balanced, grassy and savory flavor. Next one down here is matcha powder, and matcha is a shade-grown type of Japanese tea also that has a very high chlorophyll content. The tea is then pulverized into almost a baby powder type consistency so that it actually floats in the water and you're actually eating the tea. It tastes very, very grassy, very much like chlorophyll, really delicious, and it gives the tea a lot of body. The next item you have here is rice. So we take organic brown rice and we pop it, sort of like popcorn, and we add that to the tea. And what that does is it gives it a really malty, sweet caramel quality that's just very balanced and very roasted grain-like notes. And then finally, once you have all these things blended together, you have the actual raw tea, Ryokucha. And cha means tea, Ryoku means green, and what you're looking at is an incredibly vivid green tea. So hopefully you've had a chance to order our tea online and get it at home, get it ready to brew along with us. We did sell out, so if you didn't have a chance, this is a good opportunity just to watch the video and pick some up at a later time and try it on your own at home. Okay, so that's what's in the tea. How do you brew it?
I guess we need some hot water.
Thank you. Would you be willing to help?
I'll be right back.
Let's get the high temperature water.
Thank you.
We have water, 2 water towers here that use quadruple filtered water. So good tasting water, filtered to spring is the best. And then these water towers heat the water to almost boiling, just below, about 210, just because they don't go up that high. So In this pot here, we have water that's about 210 degrees. Delicious water at that. And again, delicious water is the most important thing to brewing good tea. So start with delicious water. Whatever you can do, get good tasting water. And this will be a very quick 1-minute guide on how to taste tea. So you can just first look at that color, and that's just an amazing difference that you can see from the light brew to the dark brew. And again, this is personal preference. Some people like it more thin and grassy. Other people like it like a green tea soup. You can see which is which. So the first step in tasting tea is to look at it, and you're looking at the raw material. And what you're looking for is consistency of the leaf. So here, you can see it's pretty much...
Can I smell?
Don't talk about the smell yet, though. The leaves look similar throughout, and the rice looks similar. And that similarity or consistency will give you a consistent flavor, a thoroughness throughout that'll be uniquely complex and special to this tea. Cheaper tea, more mass-produced factory farm tea is not as consistent, it's not as handcrafted. And that's the special quality to teas like this, the handcrafting quality that makes it consistent, and the consistency will make it complex and allow you just to have an experience that stimulates your senses, your sight, your taste buds, your aftertaste, and all that. So the first thing in tasting tea, look at the dry leaves. Second thing is look at the color of the infusion. And you're just looking to notice whatever stands out. So in this one, I see a really dark army green quality of viscosity. It's definitely kind of thick and brothy. A milky characteristic that comes from the matcha. Those kind of things I would see when I'm actually looking at the raw brew.
Beautiful color.
Next step in tasting tea, so you go from looking at the dry leaves, looking at the infusion, smell. So.
Oh my God. It's a divine.
Divine. So there is a special, do you know how to smell tea, the official rule?
I'm not sure I'm familiar with those.
No. So there is a hard rule on how to smell tea, and that's the way to get the richest experience possible. So the first thing you do is you exhale, so your lungs are pretty empty, and then you hold the tea under your nose and you inhale all the way and you hold it and you put it down, and then you exhale. And the key is that fills your lungs with the aroma, your nostrils, the back of your throat, your lungs. It fills it with the aroma of the tea, so you really get the full experience. And what you look for is simply to ask yourself, what am I noticing? What do I notice? So.
Oh, I love it. I feel ricey flavor, grassy aroma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I get it. Some spinach quality, like freshly cut grass.
I definitely feel that too.
As well as like toasted popcorn or popping corn from the rice is really what stands out with the aroma of this tea. So again, when you have a good tea, it's an experience to stimulate all of your senses, and that's part of the fun. That's part of what people like here at Samovar, is a way to get your aroma, your sight, the music around you, the sound of the bubbling water, and finally the taste. Like just tasting tea, it's kind of meaningless if all you do is just drink it back and taste it. But when you look at all these elements and look at how do you combine it, it's a very, very robust experience. All right, so let's taste it. The way to taste tea is a lot like wine. So you want to aerate the tea and coat all of your taste buds in your mouth. So slurping, not choking, but slurping and swallowing it is a good thing to do. So let's see how this one is. And we start with a light one, by the way. We're starting with the lightly brewed one, so we don't, so we work our way darker.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Wow, this is incredible.
What's incredible about it?
I really like this. The flavor that I felt when I smelled the tea, I can really feel it in my palate, and that's incredible.
It kind of feels like you're swimming through a kelp forest in the ocean, maybe down in Monterey Bay.
Oh yeah.
You know, and you swim through it and you're cold and you get out and you have a hot bowl of steaming rice awaiting you at the end.
I love it.
One way of thinking about it. I think
like that.
An interesting way that we do training here, I think you're probably familiar, is that we don't just think about what does it taste like, grass or bark or wood or whatever. Instead, what experience does this tea take me back to? Does it remind me of my uncle's attic in August in the summertime with old cobwebs and old wooden creaky floors? Or does it remind me of going golfing with my father and the freshly grown grass and the cut grass smell? really looking at an experience that the tea can connect us back to is something that our staff likes doing, and it's a way to better communicate as well. What is this really going to bring me?
You might recall some memories if you had this tea with one of your close friends or one of your family members, and then you drink it again by yourself, and you sip a little bit, and you feel, oh yeah, I remember that moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So let's try now the darker brewed tea. And again, any questions you have, feel free to tweet them or Facebook them to us.
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
So what is the best temperature for brewing Ryokucha?
The best temperature for brewing Ryokucha. So again, we use just below boiling water. So we like to bring the water to a rolling boil. It's the only way you know you get it hot enough, and you need hot enough water to bring out the flavor and the health benefits of any tea. And then to let it cool down just a little bit. But really, this tea is very hearty. So if you bring your water to a boil and add it, it's fine. The rice really holds up well in preventing the tea from getting bitter. And if it is too bitter, toss it out and re-brew it. These leaves you can just continue to re-steep several times like we talked about. Not as much as an oolong or a pu'er, of course, but these leaves are very hearty and very robust and have a lot of complexity.
Can you dilute it with water?
You could.
If it's too bitter?
If it's too bitter, and that bitter quality is not really bitter. We call it astringency, and it's that mouth-drawing characteristic you get that some people don't find pleasurable and some people do. So all tea has a fine amount of that. It's part of what is part of the tea experience. But sometimes if you oversteep the tea or use water that is too hot, like for a delicate green tea, it would get way too astringent. So you could dilute it though. You could.
I love strong teas. It makes me feel like I'm loading myself with caffeine, which is always good in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, actually. So green tea is loaded with antioxidants, and specifically they're called flavonoids, are the type of antioxidants that are in green tea. And the better the green tea, the fresher it is, the more handcrafted it is, the better it is going to be for you, as well as for the farmer. And why are antioxidants important? For those people who don't know, antioxidants are known to fight free radicals. So free radicals are what cause cancer. That's the quick science side of it as far as I understand. So green tea is full of antioxidants, flavonoids, and a little bit of caffeine. So you get a little bit of uplifting energy and a lot of antioxidants. Any other questions?
Yeah. What is the level of caffeine in Ryokucha?
That's interesting. So Ryokucha, because it has brown rice in it, you would think that tea is cut. It's not just tea, it's tea and rice. So you're actually not consuming as much caffeinated tea leaves. But here's the kicker. Because it has matcha, and you can take a look at that again, the green tea powder, you're eating the tea.
That's very true.
And so you're actually getting more caffeine. So, excuse me, it depends really on, again, how you brew it. The more tea you have, the longer you brew it, the more caffeine you will extract. But this is a unique green tea because you're eating the leaves with the matcha and steeping the leaves and rice with the other ones. So I would say, how much does it? For me, it uplifts me, but I don't get jittery. It has nowhere near the amount of caffeine as coffee.
Okay.
It's really tough to compare gram to gram or cup to cup. But a rough rule of thumb is that they say the strongest black tea, which is known to have the most caffeine, the strongest brewed black tea has at most half a cup of coffee caffeine equivalent. So if you drink half a cup of coffee and the strongest black tea, that's about what you get. But even so, the way you absorb caffeine is different. And it's one reason so many people are getting into tea from coffee, because of the gentle, uplifting quality. It's not the jittery spike and crash that people get with coffee, but it really is energizing and uplifting. So,
absolutely.
Less caffeine by far than coffee, and a little bit less than black tea. And specifically, Ryokucha has probably more than other green teas because of the matcha.
Yeah. So is it good to drink in the morning when you try to wake yourself up?
I think it's awesome in the morning, especially, and it's good you pointed that out, because with pairing it with food, it's a really hearty tea. It's almost like a cereal because of the rice. It has that malty, toasted rice quality, and pairing it with like fried eggs, like kind of heavier dishes as well, smoked salmon, even oatmeal, like those cereal qualities really, really blend well. And I love it for breakfast. It's like a meal by itself, literally.
So here's another question from our Facebook fans. What is a good food pairing for Ryokucha?
Oh, all right. So I would say, again, because this tea has so much body and viscosity, and in that matcha really creates that thickness of brothy quality, awesome with seafood. So like I said, it's like you're swimming through a kelp forest. having this with sushi, it would be amazing. At the same time, I like this really for breakfast, like I said. So it holds up well to heavier dishes. If you have like pancakes and French toast and maple syrup and like thick buttered toast with jam, this tea has so much body and so much complexity that it balances well with heavier foods. So I would say seafood, most breakfast dishes, and you know, you could actually also have this with heavier dishes like smoked meats, baked chicken, things like that. This is a really, it's one of our most popular teas because it's so well-rounded and easy to pair to your mood or to your meal.
How about desserts?
Desserts? I don't know. What do you think? What do we sell a lot of with this tea? What's our...
I really like brownie with a tea mousse. It goes
chocolate.
Amazingly well with Ryokucha.
Right. The chocolate goes awesome with this because of the bittersweet quality of chocolate.
Absolutely.
So we have the fudge
brownie with
fudge
tea
brownie.
mousse.
Yeah, so that's a good one. So we have a green tea mousse on top of a chocolate fudge brownie, and this would be a great fit with that one as well.
There's a little piece of chocolate and a lot of Ryokucha.
Yeah, actually, if you even had a chocolate bar and just had like break off a little piece and bite that and drink this, I think that would be a great pairing as well.
I already imagine myself doing this.
So, yep, right after this.
Here's another question from Amanda Dalton. Is there a flavor difference between brewing loose tea leaf in a tea bag versus loose in the water?
Ah, thank you, Amanda.
Yeah.
Is that the question? All right. Tea bags. We could go on for a whole show about this, and just so you know, we were going to be doing more live streaming, so stay tuned. We're going to be going through every tea we have. We're going to go through tea bags. We're going to go through as much as we can. So there will be a lot more to get into. But the quick story on tea bags: do you use them? Do you not? Tea bags are great because they're convenient. They're not great because they're not as fresh tea, and they don't have enough tea in them to extract as good a flavor. So we don't use tea bags because in actuality they're more expensive, right? It's what you're paying for. If you think about it, is the bag, the string, the little staple, the box, the printing, all that stuff is really where your money goes, not to the actual raw tea. So for me, I love whole leaf tea because it's actually easy to do, it's better tasting, it's fresher, it's better for you, it's better for the farmer, there's less manufacturing involved. Like all around, it's better for everyone.
Wow, good points.
In terms of taste, if you were to brew a bag of this, which I don't even know if there is a bag of Ryokucha out there, or a similar tea, I would say you brew them similarly. To get a comparable taste, you'd probably need 3 or 4 tea bags, which would just get really expensive. So not to mention the environmental impact, but the cost of having to brew that many tea bags, and the fact that they're going to get more astringent quicker, so you're going to have a comparable flavor possibly with a lot more product and higher likelihood of astringency. So does that answer the question? Was it how does it taste compare?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, tea bags are convenient. You know, for us here, when we want to use a tea bag, we actually have paper filter bags that we sell online. We use them here. When you want a to-go tea, it's a special, I don't know if we have any around here.
If you have such a beautiful teapot, you really don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want it to go, it's a paper pouch, and you add the tea to it, put it in your bag, and put it in your cup, and you can go. And you can toss it after, and you have the same taste as whole leaf tea without the same, you know, beautiful experience of a teapot, of course. But
I still feel like tea in a tea bag tastes nothing like loose leaf tea.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you know, I think Americans invented the tea bag.
Oh,
So it was a matter of convenience, right? Faster, quicker, and if you really want convenience, that's the way to go. But I think that nowadays, one of the reasons that we've been so successful is that people appreciate actually slowing down, and that there's a real need to disconnect, turn it off, take a moment, and just brew some tea. And if you don't have a moment to brew it, make a moment, because actually it'll save you more time in the long run by being present and mindful over one simple thing as tea.
Here's another question from our Twitter follower. Thank you very much for your questions, guys, by the way. How long can we store Ryokucha before it gets stale?
Oh, very good.
I have a 1 pound bag.
A 1 pound bag. So here's the deal. So we sell all of our teas now in these kind of boxes. This is our new packaging we just launched. This is special, and I'm excited about it because it's 100% compostable. So this is paper. It says reused cardboard, right? So this is second time around. And we created a sort of origami style box here. You get a little secret sticker inside every one. Many different stickers come. So any inspiring sticker.
Slow is beautiful.
Buy all of our
Look at
teas
that.
to get all the stickers. But we have information about how to brew the tea, and then we have the tea inside here. And this is actually, it looks like plastic, but this is actually wood pulp. And this will also decompose along with the box, which is really cool. And eventually the metal clip will just turn to rust and also decompose. So for me, it was exciting to launch this because we have created packaging that is as impermanent as the tea. So this tea will go back to the earth, so will this. And that's pretty awesome. And yet the key and the challenge in storing tea is keeping it fresh, right? So we get our tea fresh from the farm. What do we do with that? We seal it up in airtight plastic bags, and we keep it out of the enemies of tea. So the enemies of tea are heat, light, and moisture. So the black 1 pound bags, so for people who are crazy about this tea or our other teas, we actually do serve them or offer them on our website in 1 pound bags and also 5 pound bags. For if you're really crazy about Earl Grey or Ryokucha, you can get them in huge volumes. The deal is you have to drink the tea a lot and share it with your friends because you don't want to sit on it for 2 years. This tea would go stale. It's delicate, there's no preservatives, so you want to keep it out of light, heat, and moisture, like in one of these containers. That's how we store all of our teas when we open up them in the 5 pound bags. So we store them there to keep them secure. And then we store them in smaller containers when we use them for service. And then the smallest is when we retail them like this, we keep them in here. So here's what you do. Ideally, let's see, Tammy, can you hand me a container, a copper container? Anyone? Hang on 1 second. Thank you, Tammy. So we offer these online as well. You can pick these up in Chinatown or anywhere. But this is simply an airtight container. So I suggest that you empty the tea into a container. Even the 1 pound bags, you empty that in a container or keep it sealed up in the Ziploc bag and keep it stored away from your heat, not in your spice cabinet, not next to coffee. Keep it somewhere that is just not going to be contaminated with other flavors or heat. And the 1 pound bag, I would say if you keep it well hidden away like that, well preserved, well out of the elements, I would say that would last probably 3 months, maybe a little more. But really, realistically, you're going to love it and be drinking it every day, and it'll probably last you a week or so. So this is a good starter size. You know, don't go and buy a 1 pound or 5 pound bag of tea because that's just too much for one person to start with. We actually sell them in this size because this will last you probably 30 plus pots of tea, which is a pretty good value if you think about it. And it'll keep the tea fresher. Go through smaller amounts more often. But if you're really crazy about it or you want to bring it to the office, yeah, go for the 1 pound. Just store it right. Store it in a container like the ones we offer or anything else that just keeps it sealed up. Not in plastic either. Don't store it in plastic.
By the way, this is not plastic.
Yeah, this is wood pulp fiber. So this will decompose along with the whole thing.
Is it okay to keep your tea in this?
Yeah, so totally, and that's why we offered the little resealable clip. So this will not, if you sat on this for a year, once you opened it, then it would go off. But we seal it up here, so you can see that this is not going to open, right? This is all sealed up. So once you open it, I would say use this up amount within 6 weeks to 2 months, and you can absolutely just roll it up, clip it, and keep it in here. That's very simple. Nice. That's what a lot of customers do.
Very convenient.
And that works.
By the way, I noticed something typed on the box. What is it?
Something, what is that?
It's something typed on the box.
So yes, what is on this box? So we have a little blurb about our tea, about the tea ritual, and as well instructions on how to brew tea. So you have everything you need here to enjoy the little tea ritual. You see tea brewing instructions. And of course, a secret surprise inside everyone, and a little inspiring quote to start off your tea morning ritual in the right way.
That's nice. What is the quote on this one?
The quote on this one.
What is your favorite quote?
I don't know. Oh gosh.
Oh.
Drink tea.
Slow is beautiful.
Slow is beautiful. That's a good one.
I like that one. So I have another question for you on that. Thank you very much for your engagement and support. What is the best way to enjoy this tea in a work setting? I cannot boil water at work and don't like tea bags.
Okay, is there a name with that one?
Amanda.
Amanda, 2 T's, all right. So how do you enjoy this tea at work? You can't boil water? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You can't boil water.
At work, because you work.
Well, to do any tea, you definitely need hot water.
That's a good point.
What I would do is I would bring a thermos, and we will soon be offering some really cool thermoses for sale, but I would bring a thermos of boiling water from home, and I would bring a pot like this. Now, this is how I would do it. I would have the thermos, I would have this pot, I would have a cup, and I would have the tea. I would add the tea here, I would add the hot water from my thermos, and I would decant it into a paper cup, a nice cup. That's probably how I would do it. The other way is you can also cold brew this tea, and what that would mean is you add the tea to this pot with, if you at least have good water, if you have spring water in your office, that would be okay, but add the spring water to this tea, let it sit probably an hour or two, and then decant it, and it is delicious. So cold brew tea is definitely the way to make iced teas. That's how we do it here. Again, we'll do another episode on cold brew tea, but you could do that as well. The best is with hot water, but if you don't, you can steep the tea for a couple hours, make cold brew tea, and that would work too.
By the way, I like my teas to go with, you know, such a lifestyle when you have to go somewhere all the time and you're never home. I just get little thermos from Samovar and I pour hot water in it and I put a little bit of tea in it and I keep it for the whole day, and whenever I get a chance to get more hot water, I just refill it and the tea tastes delicious.
Yeah,
you can receive it many times.
We do have a cool thermos. I think we're running low on stock. We probably have 20 or so left. We will be getting more.
They're really popular.
But those are cool. They're very durable. They're stainless steel. They insulate it well. And you could brew your tea at home and bring it to work. So thank you for mentioning that. That's it for questions. All right, let's taste this one. Now that it's cooled down, and we're going to taste the more strongly brewed Ryokucha. And this was the 1 to 3 tablespoons of tea in this pot here, and brewed approximately 30 seconds. And so let's see what we notice here. So it's actually good that it's cooled down. So tasting tea, you want to taste tea that's actually cooled to room temperature when you're doing a formal tasting.
Wow, I love it. I feel like I'm getting healthy and healthier when I drink it.
Yeah, I mean, you're actually ingesting the tea leaves here, right? So the matcha means it's so finely pulverized that you're eating the whole leaf, which is it's great, it's unique. It's unlike other teas where you're drinking the extraction. And that's the biggest thing I notice here. It's almost like green tea soup. You can see how thick it is down there. And that is just pure health benefits and pure green tea. And so it feels just, for me, very briny, like very creamy, very thick, definitely like fresh cut grass, just much more intense, like you're kind of going through a cloud of tea, versus the first one, which is a lot lighter, like just a more crisp, light version of this.
Talking about tea soups, is it something that is on your menu, and do you add this tea or any other teas?
Yeah, so
the tea soup you serve?
Tea soup is called ochazuke in Japan, and that means the sound of slurping. Zuke is the sound of slurping tea soup. Oh, wow. That's where the name came from.
Never heard that.
And we add this to rice and some veggies and smoked salmon or tofu. And we actually pour it over to make a broth and add a little soy sauce and sesame oil and some torn seaweed, and that's really delicious. So that's ochazuke, our tea soup, and this one is a great tea for that.
Great.
Yeah.
I have some spicy questions for you, Jesse.
All right,
you ready?
spicy. Okay.
From Jeremy, thank you. Can the stimulating effects of Ryokucha help my performance in bed?
Spicy. Well, I'm not a doctor, but I play one on TV. And no, let's see, can it? Well, here's how I would answer that. So I would think that anything uplifting that makes you feel good enhances your performance overall. Specifically to tea and sex, I would say that having a ritual and bringing that into a romantic situation is probably the first thing. So although you might be thinking like, hey, if I drink 5 gallons of this tea, will that make me a superhero? I would actually think about it differently and say, if you can create a beautiful setting, like Samovar Tea Lounge here, or at home, the right music, the right vibe, the whole thing, and actually brew up some tea, I think that would be a very erotic mood turner that would probably contribute to the performance.
Drinking tea together definitely will help intimate.
Right.
Means.
Like think about it like this. Sit down, make a beautiful ritual, and simply serve your partner tea. And that act of service, I think, is very profound and very very moving. The being present and literally making tea with such focus and intention and mindfulness for your partner there, I think that would be a great way to have an intimate experience. I mean, we do it here. This is our business. Our goal, our mission is positive human connection. So people come in here and they sit down across from each other with their clothes on, I think, usually, and they do the same thing. But here's a chance to take that into a more intimate environment, and I think it would be very powerful. So let us know, please.
It's a really good way to connect.
Yeah, it's a good way to connect. Clothes on or off, right?
How about some cocktails? Can you mix Ryokucha with anything, including alcohol?
Let's see. I have never actually mixed Ryokucha with any alcohol. The teas that we have, so for me, this is more of a pure tea, like the cleanness of it, and it's so healthy. Antioxidants, the mild caffeine. It's just so rich in health, I wouldn't really think about it like that. However, at Samovar, we do a lot of tea parties. We have private events that we do, and oftentimes, holidays and such, people want alcohol. We do have teas that we blend with alcohol, and they're amazing. You've worked a lot of those parties. And
I love those parties.
Like what? We have Earl Grey, we have our apple ginseng oolong, teas that have more, our jasmine pearl, that actually have herbs and flowers and scents in the tea. We cold brew them in vodka, and we make like cold brewed Earl Grey vodka with tonic water, and it's amazing. People go crazy for those. So
lemonade infused vodka.
Jasmine tea lemonade vodka. That's an awesome one. So tea and vodka, tea and alcohol can mix. This one I wouldn't do.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for that question.
A coworker says she doesn't drink green tea because it's bad for the thyroid. Is there any truth to this from Liberal Thought?
From who is that?
Liberal Thought.
Okay.
It's a nickname.
Oh, all right. I would say that I don't really know. Here's the deal. There are people often ask us, especially Americans, who always want to know the most extreme whatever. Like, what's the tea that'll make me the strongest, the most weight loss, the fastest, the whatever? It's, Americans are the land of extreme in every regard, right? So I think the thing with tea is that it's healthy. There's loads of studies showing the health benefits of tea, the health benefits of getting off coffee, the health benefits of eating a low-fat, low-carb diet, right? So I would say about your thyroid, I honestly have no idea. I'm sure there's a study out there that shows exactly what you're saying is correct, but I don't really like going into all the extremes and the hyperbole of it. What I would say is that if you feel good and if you don't have any severe medical condition, think about what that's doing, and it's probably okay. So,
thank you.
But no comment on how a tea affects your thyroid.
How about other ways of drinking Ryokucha? Do you drink it iced? Would you try?
Yeah, so I would say if I want to drink this tea cold, I wouldn't make it hot and then make it cold. I would do the cold brew way we talked about before. So I would add a couple tablespoons of tea, add filtered water to that, add it in one of our Vivid brew pots just to try it out. Or you could do it in a big pitcher, just add more. Let it sit overnight in your refrigerator, and then pour it off. And what you'll have is just this super clean, vibrant, delicious, refreshing brew that is way different, really much better. I prefer it a lot than making hot brewed tea and icing it or pouring it over ice. You don't need to pour it over ice.
Thank you.
Very good.
Waiting for more questions from you guys.
If there's any more questions, let us know. We'll take another minute or two and field your questions. Otherwise, if you're interested in learning more about Ryokucha, if you're interested in learning more about Samovar, and most importantly, if you want to get into tea, we're about to launch something called the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Tea.
Wow.
And that'll be a really cool product. It'll have videos. A good friend of mine, Leo Babauta, the founder of ZenHabits.net, really awesome blog. Check it out, ZenHabits.net. A lot about living simpler, living better, living healthy. Really great guy. He and I sit down, drink a lot of tea. We talk about it. We teach you. And it'll be a really cool video series to learn and absorb all this information. And we pair tea with it. So you can both watch the videos, brew tea at home, learn all about it. And coming soon, the Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Tea.
Sounds great. I want to sign up.
So you will want to sign up. So there's nothing else out there like it, which is why we did it.
Good. Sounds
Very cool.
exciting. I have another question.
All right.
Do you add milk or sugar to Ryokucha?
I don't, and the basic deal with milk and sugar is that back in the day, it took so long to transport tea over land, over water, however it got to wherever it was going, that it was often musty, moldy, rat-infested, nasty stuff. And it was pretty nasty tasting, so the only way to make it taste good was to doctor it up with milk and sugar, with citrus, with whatever, other things. And then it would basically taste like liquid cake. So for milk and sugar teas, we really only suggest you use teas that are more astringent, like Earl Grey, like Breakfast Blend, things that have that astringency that allows the milk and sugar to pair nicely with it. Realistically, all of our teas are fresh, they're not old like in the old days, so you don't need milk and sugar for them to taste really good. And you're kind of messing with the complexity and the natural flavor of the tea. So Ryokucha I definitely wouldn't, because you have the really milky body from the matcha. And overall, teas I would steer away from milk and sugar, but if you really want to go there, try it with a black tea.
Tea is personal, as we say.
It's personal, that's very true.
So, is green tea better than other types of tea? Question from Marie.
Marie, thanks for that question. Is green tea better than other kinds of tea? So, yes and no. Let me get a drink of our quadruple filtered water first. So there's a study out there, many studies that say green tea is the healthiest. But recently there was another study that said white tea is the healthiest. Recently I read something else, black tea is the healthiest. I think the bottom line is tea is healthy. Once you get into tea, the question is, how do you know which is the healthier teas? Is it black? Is it white? Is it green? Is it flavored vanilla? Is it chocolate, cake tea, whatever? There's a lot of flavorings out there. So for me, the way to look at a healthy tea and how do we discern what is the healthiest tea out there, first thing is freshness. So it's like going to the farmer's market, right? Heirloom tomatoes in August are going to be delicious, they're going to be healthier, they're going to taste better, and they're going to be better for you, and better for the earth. Tomatoes from Chile in January, brought in from South America, are going to be cardboard, they're going to be bad for the environment, not delicious, not that great for your health. So tea is the same way. So you're going to look at where's the tea from, when was it sourced and produced, and the quality of the actual farmer. So is this a handcrafted product that was literally made with intention and care and artisanship, or is it something that's made by some massive monoculture agro farm tea business that chops down bushes by the thousands of pounds a minute and just does mass produced tea? So that's also going to have an impact on health. Our teas are small, handcrafted, small crop, so that's going to be healthier. Then within the categories of tea, assuming that you have fresh tea, you have small batch handcrafted tea, what's going to be the healthiest? I think it's all pretty equal, personal opinion. I think you could take any tea, and depending on how you brew it, you could get more health benefits from one versus another one. I think that if you're going with fresh tea, you're going with tea that does not have additives like chemicals, that's a really important factor. You want to have tea that's in its purest form, or if it's blended with the raw materials, roots and rinds and berries and things like that, natural essences, citrus oils, those kind of things, not chemicals. And a lot of tea out there, when you look at a tea that sounds like it's like chocolate cake, it's artificially flavored, and that is definitely not going to be anywhere near as healthy as brewing this up. Now, is this going to be less healthy than a oolong that we have? I don't know. I mean, I think they're both fresh. I would say personally they're probably pretty close.
You might have more antioxidants because of the matcha powder in it.
Yeah, that's true. So this tea may have, yeah, good point. You're eating this one, so I would say the fact that you're actually eating the leaves in the matcha, you get extra health benefits, but it's such a small amount. I mean, you'd probably have to eat really a lot to notice the effect. On the other hand, if you're drinking good tea like this every day, a couple times a day, that's going to add up.
I drink a lot of tea.
So how lucky can we be? Like, we work here, our job is to drink tea, to talk about it, and to serve it and taste it and do stuff like this. So overall, I can't say anything wrong with the more good artisan tea you're drinking, the better for your health.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So look at the color. It's so green, almost artificial. How they make it look so green?
The green color, I see that was another question that came in, is from the matcha. That's what creates that really, really thick, neon, artificial looking color, but it's not. So again, the matcha looks like the same color here. It's not artificially colored at all, but it looks pretty darn psychedelic. And so that's part of the beauty of this. It's, you know, if you look at it, it's part of the tea experience, right? You're looking at the raw leaves that somebody picked thousands of miles away, halfway around the world, and blended for us here in downtown San Francisco, or if you order online. And that's just, to me, that's amazing. That's about the connection of tea. It's about us connecting to farmers, and about you connecting with each other when you drink it, and us connecting with you when you order our tea. So
it's nothing artificial there?
No, absolutely not. It looks like neon colors, but it is totally natural.
I like that color. I have another great question from Zach.
All right, we'll take 4 more questions, so if you have them, get them in quick.
Please. What are some good description words for tasting teas to impress my wine expert friends?
Let's see. I would say we're actually publishing a little mini tasting guide, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be very cool. It's going to have a lot of great descriptors, a little 101 on how to taste tea, so you can have a tea party and do that. But, so was a question about tea in general, or this tea?
Tasting teas, but I think you could talk about this one.
Okay, let me talk about this one, because yeah, we're brewing this one now, and you can reuse these words. So the first point-winning word you can use to impress your friends is the word umami. And there's a chain of hamburger joints called Umami Burger. It's not about that. It's not about hamburgers. So umami is one of the flavors that we don't really have a word for in America or in an English-speaking language. So umami, we have sweet, sour, salty, bitter. I think that's it. Sweet, sour, salty, bitter. 4 flavors. In Japan, they have 1 more, umami. And umami is basically, artificial umami is MSG. So they take MSG, they add it to food to bring out the quality of umami. MSG is derived from the original flavor of this savory quality that was made in Japan, made by combining shiitake mushrooms, dried mushrooms, with a seaweed called kombu. And you soak that in water, and the flavor you get in the water, and this is used as a broth, is called umami. And it's a phenomenal flavor. It's hard to describe, but loosely described as savory. And it's like a very, sort of like Japanese sweet potato butter. Fat has umami qualities.
Very complex.
And very complex, and unlike all the other flavors. And yet, it's like an enhancer. So artificial umami is from MSG. We don't use MSG here, but this tea has umami. Really high-end Japanese green teas like Ryokucha also have a lot of umami. Our Nishi Sencha also has umami. And I would say that's an awesome word to use with teas, or actually any foods that have that rich, savory quality.
Are there any other words that you use?
Other words. So for me, I would use oceanic, and that's to describe just this briny, brothy quality. It's like drinking a little bit of ocean water mixed with kind of spinach and chlorophyll and wheatgrass, and a good amount of umami. So I would say this is a very oceanic, slightly briny tea with a good amount of umami. You definitely get notes of toasted grain from the rice, and you get aromas of cut grass from the sencha that's in here, for starters. But we could go on for hours about that. I encourage you to come into Samovar if you can. Or actually, again, check out our ultimate tea guide that we're about to launch, because we're going to have a whole thing on tasting aromas.
Thank you, Jesse. Here's another question. What is the most popular green tea at your tea lounge?
Ryokucha.
Oh my gosh.
We're sold out right now, I'm sorry, but you can back order it. Next time, definitely get in early when we do these live tastings. We do a little pre-sale on them. And for everyone watching who's trying to buy online, we'll be happy to give you a 15% discount. So
nice.
If you want to order this and pre-order it, just call it, let's call it Yulia. Y-U-L-I-A. And maybe Tiffany, you can put in the discount code, so when people order it, they'll get 15% discount. Because our apologies, we ran out. We had no idea this would be so popular.
Wow.
Thousands of people
really
all over the world watching this, brewing tea with us. So this is the most popular. And the reason is because it's so easy to brew, you can't do it wrong. Some of the more fancy Japanese green teas, like our Nishi, like the matcha, like Ryokucha, are just more finicky. They're more, they require pots like this one. Things like that, just a little more high touch and maintenance, but this is so easy to do. You can drink it all day long, and it's loaded with antioxidants and caffeine and all that.
Great. Thank you, Aaron, for your question.
Thank you.
I think if you guys have any more questions, we'll be happy to answer.
All right. I think that's it. So thank you all very much for joining. Definitely check us out. Sign up for our email newsletter if you like this tasting. We're going to be announcing more. Feel free to join us in a lounge anytime in San Francisco. You can find out where we're located at samovarlife.com. And definitely check out our Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Tea. It'll be a great way to learn to get into tea, and a fun video series and some awesome products in there as well. So stay tuned. We'll be announcing our next tea shortly, and upcoming newsletters on the next live tasting. So thank you, Yulia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Jesse, for this event.